In this lecture, we are going to learn about another topic in grammar, which is quantifiers. We use quantifiers almost every day in our daily life when we use English language. A quantifier is a word or phrase which is used before a noun to indicate the amount or the quantity. So normally we would say some water, some people, many cars on the road, many. I have many pens. You can borrow one. A lot of people. A few examples. For example, those are all examples of quantifiers. So what do? They indicate the amount or the quantity of the noun. So here are some examples of quantifiers in sentences. There are some books on the desk. He's got only a few dollars. How much money have you got? There is a large quantity of fish in this river, and he's got more friends than his sister. So some, a few, much, large quantity, more. So those are all quantifiers because they indicate the quantity, the amount of the noun. So these are the nouns: books, dollars, money, fish, and friends. So a noun can refer to words that name things, people, animals, places, ideas, feelings, or concepts. Things like table, chair, or water, people, the name of people, the job, the occupation, the profession, animals, places, name of places, countries, and places in our house, for example, like kitchen, and concepts or ideas or feelings like love, hate, happy, jealous, or information. So that would be concept. So there are different types of quantifiers. First, we'll take a look at quantifiers that can be used with uncountable nouns. So we have two types of nouns. One is uncountable, you cannot count. One is countable, you can count. So with uncountable nouns, there are specific quantifiers that you will have to use when you are describing the amount or the quantity of nouns that are uncountable. So here we can see some examples of uncountable nouns like liquid. So liquid can be water, can be any other types of liquids like drinks, um, any other chemical compounds in a form of liquid, powder or grained, um, like rice, for example. Rice is type of grains, cereal. So those are uncountable because they cannot be counted. So it is impossible for you to count the grains of the rice. Powder, for example, yes, you can scale, but you cannot count. So how many powder do you have in the bottle of the talcum powder? Hair is uncountable, but it can be countable, but normally hair is uncountable because it is impossible for you to count, and normally you don't count how many hairs you have on your head. Feelings, love, sad, happy, so those are uncountable. Gas, oxygen, hydrogen, they are also uncountable. Advice is uncountable. And motivation is also uncountable. So when with uncountable nouns, you use these types of quantifiers. There is much rice left in the bowl. So although there are much rice, but you don't say many, you say much, because many is for things that you can count, much you cannot count. So you say there is, not there are, much rice left in the kitchen. So there is much rice left in the kitchen. So much, not many, because it is uncountable, and is because it is uncountable, because although you have much rice, but still you use is because it is uncountable. There is a little rice left in the kitchen. So little means that there is not enough of something. A little means that there is not a lot of something, but there is enough. So that is the difference between little and a little. So there is a little rice left, there is little rice left. So there is a difference between little and a little. A bit. I'm going to give you a bit of an advice. There is a great deal of liquid or water in the bowl or in the tank. There is a large amount of hair on your head. There is a large quantity of gas in the container. So those are quantifiers for uncountable noun. Next, there are quantifiers for countable nouns. So countable nouns are things, animals, or peoples, or buildings that you can count. So you can see either 1, 2, 3, and you can count the numbers. So there are many people in the class. So you can count 1 to 20. There are 20 people. There are a few people left in the class. There are few people going to the class today. So what is the difference? A few, and very few. So few and very few mean that there is not enough of something. So there are few students going to the class today because of the quarantine. There is a few, or there are a few students going to the class means there is not a lot of something, but there is enough. So when you ask a question, do you have any sweets left? So the answer could be there are few sweets left in the fridge. So that means not enough for everyone. If the answer is there is a few, or there are a few sweets left in the fridge, that means not a lot, but there is enough for everyone. A number. So there are a number of people, there are a number of buildings in the small town. Several people, several cats, a large number of buildings, a great number of things, a majority of people in the hall voted for the lady to be the club president. So with countable nouns, you use these quantifiers. But with uncountable nouns that you cannot count, these are the quantifiers that you can use. So you'll have to be careful whenever you are using quantifiers so that you'll be using them correctly. There are also quantifiers that can be used for both countable and uncountable nouns. So we have talked about uncountable nouns, we have talked about countable nouns. So uncountable nouns means nouns that you cannot count. Countable nouns means nouns that you can count. But there are also nouns that can be both. They can either be counted, they can either be countable, or they can also be uncountable. For example, hair. So the hair on your head is uncountable. But if, let's say, you see two strands of hair on the table or on the comb, so you say, I could see two hairs on the table or on the floor. So in that case, you can count. But the hair on your head is uncountable, but unless you can see one or two pieces, strands of hair, that is countable. Paper. Can you give me some paper? Paper in general is uncountable. But if you say, I can see two pieces of paper on the table, so that one you can count. It is countable because one and two, so two pieces of paper. But can you give me some papers because I need to print something? So some papers means it is uncountable, so it can be any amount of paper. Time can be both countable and uncountable. So when you say, I have been to Thailand 2 times, so 2 times, that is countable, 1 and 2. But I have a lot of time to spend, so that is uncountable. A lot of time, yours can be 1 hour, can be 2 hours, can be 2 days, can be 1 week. Meat. Can I have some chicken, please? So some chicken is uncountable. But if you say there are 2 chickens outside, so that means you can count. Room can also be countable, can be uncountable. For example, when you say there are 2 rooms in the house, but when you say there are some more room here, you can enter. So that one is uncountable. The same goes to glass. Glass for drink is countable, but the building has a lot of glasses, has a lot of glass. Is made of glass, so that is uncountable. Coffee is uncountable. Can I have some coffee, please? But when you say, can I have 2 coffees? That is countable because you mean to say, can I have 2 cups of coffee? So with uncountable, with this type of nouns, you can use these quantifiers. I have enough paper for printing. I have more time to spend with my family during the quarantine. Um, there's plenty of hair on your head. There are a lot of coffee left in the jug. There are some coffee left in the jug. There are some meat in the freezer. I have enough room for you to sit, or I have enough space for you to sit. Um, can you bring some glasses, please? So that is countable. Do you have some time? I need to ask you some questions. Do you have any time to spend with me? Do you have any time to spend? Because I need to ask you a lot of questions about the proposal. So, so all in all, we have countable nouns or uncountable nouns where we use these quantifiers. We have countable nouns with these quantifiers to be used, and also we have both countable and uncountable nouns with these quantifiers to go with them. So to conclude, it is important for you to use the correct quantifiers and identify the noun first if it is countable, uncountable, or both, and use the correct quantifiers to in your sentence. Thank you.